No surprise whatsoever as to what is appearing at the top of our topic list, and that is the reports that Liam Lawson is set to be dropped from Red Bull after just 2 races with the team in a switch with Yuki Tsunoda, and that could happen as soon as the Japanese Grand Prix that is upcoming in a week and a half's time. No official confirmation yet from the team that this is happening. However, multiple reliable sources within the paddock suggesting this is a done deal. Speaking to Sky Sports F1, Lawson said, "It's just really tough, honestly. I think the window's really small, but honestly, it's not an excuse. Asked what he needs to improve, he said, it's just time. Unfortunately, I don't really have time." Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko responded, "He is right."
So sad. That is so savage.
Oh, no.
On Tsunoda's form, Marko told Autosport, "Yuki is a different Yuki from the years before. He is in the form of his life. Obviously, he changed his management. He has a different approach. He's more mature. It took a while, but it now looks like it's working." After finishing 6th in the sprint, by the way, Tsunoda was asked if he would swap seats for Suzuka, and he replied, "Japan? Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Red Bull car is faster."
Is it?
Is it?
Interesting comments all round.
Yeah, there's a lot to break down there, isn't there? It's not as simple as you think it would be. This really is not an easy decision. For many other teams, you would be like, I don't know, say Carlos Sainz was suddenly asked, "Do you want to swap with Kimi Antonelli and join Mercedes?" Or he'd be like, "Well, yeah, well, I probably do. Makes total sense to me. It's a much faster car." This is not an easy choice. And the Red Bull machine is now famous for eating up drivers and spitting them back out as fast as you like. So when you are proposed, finally, after proper even sloppy seconds or even sloppy thirds at this point for Red Bull, Yuki Tsunoda is right down the back of the pile. It's been passed over by so many members of this team to finally get a chance to step into that seat. And that car has finished pretty much last in every single qualifying session and well off the points in every other actual race. It's not a simple answer. It's just yes or no. Yuki Tsunoda is having a fantastic year and a bit now. Last season was a great step forward for Yuki Tsunoda. He started this season brilliantly well. But the problem isn't with the drivers. Liam Lawson, whilst I don't think was as good as Yuki Tsunoda when he went up against him, was still very admirable. Still a good driver, lots of skill, has done well in junior formula. He even quite sassily came out with a quote and said, I don't care about junior formulas. I'm beating him in all of those anyway. And well, kind of factually, that is true. He did a great job in Super Formula, did a great job with DTM. But the moment you get him in that Red Bull seat, the car just doesn't work. And it's not like this is just a Liam Lawson problem. Sergio Perez, who we all rate so highly, struggled immensely in that seat. Alex Albon, who's gone on to be a brilliant driver for Williams now, struggled in that seat. Pierre Gasly, who we rate as one of the highest members of that midfield pack, struggled in that seat. The problem is clearly not with the driver. It's clearly with the seat. It's clearly with this second side of Red Bull where the car is set up so definitively for Max Verstappen, where you clearly don't get a say in how the car is built. It feels a little bit like career suicide at this point by making that jump, by moving yourself over to Red Bull, because if it goes even slightly wrong, not only do you no longer get to have a seat in the Red Bull team, there's a big chance you don't get a seat in Formula One at all, and you are kicked out in an instant. So it's not a simple yes from Yuki Tsunoda. I love that he's got the willpower and the thought process behind him to think, yeah, I'm good enough. I can do it. But so has every other driver that's also gone into that seat where they think they can do it. It's not as simple as it looks.
Harry, should Red Bull make this switch?
Big nose all round from me on this one. Look, what Lawson has done so far has been a solid 1 out of 10. It's not been a great start to the year. But
not a shaky 1 out of 10, a solid 1 out of 10.
No, very solid. Not but shaky. It's solid. It's been poor and it cannot go on. But you've got to add some caveats to this in that Lawson's never raced at these first two circuits. Japan he has. I think you at least give him that chance to prove himself at a circuit he has been at beforehand in Super Formula, as you mentioned, Sam. We've seen so many times that it's other second drivers have struggled. When Perez even joined, I know Perez's Red Bull career started actually pretty shakily, went up in the middle, and then went back down again. The first part wasn't good from him. It wasn't this bad, but it wasn't great. And they didn't get rid of him after 2 races. You're right. Red Bull have a fundamental problem. Ben's been ripped to pieces on an Instagram post we did a while ago about this, but
It's not you for once.
not exactly not me, but you're right. They've got a fundamental problem here. They've messed up, and there's a really interesting clip doing the rounds, which is actually from a little while ago of Alex Albon on another podcast, whose Christmas party we weirdly crashed, but he's talking about how the car is set up, but it's not necessarily that it's set up for Verstappen or built for Verstappen, but it's actually the way it's set up. Sorry, and that it's so sensitive that you can never match the speed he's doing, and the more sensitive he gets, the faster he goes, and the slower you go. So there is a fundamental issue there that it is set up so much around Verstappen, which is obviously great for him. And they need, he's going to get the results more than the other driver, I'm sure. But for this, it's not helping Lawson. And as we saw on Sunday in China, he put a completely different setup on that car, and it went worse. It went even worse than it did on the Saturday. And that as a point to be at is pretty bleak. Having said that, though, I just don't think this is not right, not fair. You've got to give him more time than 2 races. And that is with the caveat that this has been a solid 1 out of 10 for the first 2 races. It's not been great at all. But I just think you have to give him more time than 2 races. It's just simply unfair. And as for Yuki, it's a cursed seat. Do not go. Stay away.
This is insanity.
Exactly.
What are we doing here? He's done 2 races. 2. And I didn't think he should have got, I don't think he should have got that seat anyway. I think it should have gone to Tsunoda, and I haven't changed my opinion on that. But why on earth are we discussing a switch after 2 Grand Prix? Like, if you are Red Bull and if you can be swayed by 2 awful performances that Lawson's not your guy, you weren't that convinced to begin with. Because let's say, for example, Mercedes, Antonelli had delivered 2 really bad races to start this year. Would there be any conversation at all of them making a switch? There wouldn't, because whether he's right or wrong, Toto Wolff is convinced that Antonelli is the answer. He's the future. He's a real talent. And they would stick by him. Red Bull can't have had much conviction if they are already thinking about moving on. Whether they do or not, it kind of doesn't really matter. They are considering it. And Christian Horner, at any point last weekend, could have turned around and gone, yeah, he's our driver for now. Like, we're going to stick by him. We're going to work through all of this. And he's there talking about, I have a lot of sympathy for Liam Lawson, and the media's putting a lot of pressure on him. You could very easily alleviate that pressure by just saying, we're not sacking our driver after 2 races. But he won't say it because they are. I just think it's utter madness for Red Bull to expect anything else than what they're getting right now. They put a driver in their car that has done 12 races across 2 different seasons. And he's not brilliant. What a shock. Like, of course he's not brilliant. That's why I don't think he should have been there to begin with. But if you're going to hire him, stick with him. At least give him a little bit of time. I just don't understand the logic at all. This team is a mess. The downfall of Red Bull in a year needs to be studied, because think back like 12 months ago, they are picking up from where they left off in 2023. They are winning races. They are winning races comfortably. In the space of 12 months, they've lost key personnel. They've lost all their performance, and apparently they've lost their heads as well. I don't even want to start on the audacity of Helmut Marko saying it's a new Yuki Tsunoda as well.
Oh, man's been the same. Come on now.
That man has been chatting absolute wham for about 2 or 3 months now since this year started. He's on a mission to just wind everyone up in the
no shame.
No, he will just say anything. You got just hold back, have a filter, please, Helmut. You absolute helmet.
How aren't there more questions being asked of Horner and Helmut Marko for the situation that they found themselves in? Like, there should be a lot of questions directed their way as to why this hasn't worked. It doesn't seem as if that's the case. Bear in mind, and this isn't a confirmed figure, but Sergio Perez had to be paid out of his deal for 2025, somewhere in the region of maybe over £10 million. To get 2 races from his replacement? You're going at £5 million per race before you switch to someone else? That's real bad business. Like, you shouldn't be in that situation.
Sergio Perez is lying on his bed of cash, laughing, just
covered in Kit Kats and money,
having the best time. He's part of some like residences in Miami now. That's where he's going to have his holidays. He's having a great time, living his best life because they've paid him off.
I would be with like £10 million.
I think he's got more than that, mate.
That's true. I think you were spot on, Sam, with what you said about this team having a fundamental issue and it not just being down to the drivers. I didn't think Lawson should be in there because I don't think he's the answer. But equally, there were 3 other drivers that came before Lawson that didn't fit the bill for Red Bull. And Pierre Gasly has proven after his Red Bull career that he's a good driver. So has Alex Albon. Sergio Perez proved before Red Bull that he was a good driver. Like if you are putting a light bulb in and it doesn't work, you might go, that light bulb might be a bit faulty. I'll try this one instead. If that second light bulb also doesn't work, you might think, I've been really unlucky here. 2 dud light bulbs in a row. If you've got 4 dud light bulbs in a row, maybe the light bulbs aren't the issue.
It's a sensational.
That's great, mate. Well done. I was going to...
Sorry, can you tell I'm fuming on this?
He's fuming. I thought he was going to go for a swear then.
Yeah.
I was going to say... Yeah, exactly. I was going to say... For Red Bull, and again, people will come for us for this, the concept of the Red Bull Young Driver Program and working, if you actually look back and who it's worked for, and when I say worked, as in they've got to the Red Bull car and then gone on to success, I'm not saying people like Albon and Gasly who have found better form after they've left or been dumped by that team. It's only worked for Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion, Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion, and Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
And that's it. The rest of the people that have come in and been good, or at least pretty acceptable, Sergio Perez, Mark Webber, and DC, obviously, back when he started. That's it. As a successful program, I don't think it can call itself that because it's produced 2 great drivers and a one really good driver. And that's it.
Yeah, a controversial statement maybe, but I think Red Bull would be better off without Max Verstappen at this point.
They are going to come for us. They're all going to come for us.
I don't know where our homes are. It's okay. And this is no disrespect to Verstappen. He is the best driver in the world right now. He deserves all of the praise, all of the good things. But as a team, as a unit, the deficit between good and bad should not be this extreme. And they actually could, I think, more positively balance. That's a good word. Not positively balance. Positively balance. Oh, God, now I can't speak. The overall points that the team are generating by removing Verstappen, readdressing how the car is built and how it functions, and having 2 drivers that actually feel 80% comfortable in that car, rather than having one driver who is 100% comfortable and another driver who is 1% comfortable, and it being this such extreme. An example of this, and we're going to football terms here, is very recently, Kylian Mbappe left Paris Saint-Germain and he went to Real Madrid. And that team was his team. PSG was his team. He was the focal point. He was the superstar. And you know what? They struggled in all the competitions they went to, other than the French league, because that's a load of crap. But the moment he leaves, that team goes further in the European competition than they've pretty much ever been before. They're playing better football than they've ever had, and they work together as a unit. Is there something to be said for, should Red Bull get rid of their star to overall become more successful? I don't know.
That's a wild take from Sam, calling Verstappen the most overrated driver of all time. That's okay. Crazy, man.
Okay. Let me out.
I love me a football comparison.
Yeah, you understand them all really well, don't you?
All of the sports balls.
All of the sports.
I love how passionate you're about Formula One. And yet all other sport, you are so clueless.
I've got nothing else to give.
I'm tired.
Cheers, Ian. I with the Tsunoda side of things as well, I just don't know what he can do, because there is a good chance that he would go into that seat and almost the same thing would happen that's happening to Lawson.
This is why I'm saying, do not do it, son. Because
does that have a bad look, though, if he turns down the challenge? Like, is that a bad look for future potential teams? That guy had an opportunity to go against Verstappen and win races in a car that Verstappen's winning races in, and he turned it down. Does that look bad?
I don't know. Well, look, maybe, but the rest of the teams in the paddock aren't stupid. They recognise that it's a pretty cursed seat, the second seat of Red Bull right now. And I think most of them would see it as a wise move, because look what it is doing to the careers of other drivers. Liam Lawson's done 2 races, and we're already talking about him not being there anymore. Perez is, Perez, look, I don't think it was a wrong move to go to Red Bull. He was obviously out of a driver Racing Point, but he was unceremoniously dumped by his F1's career has ended, and he was dumped at the end of it. It's such a cutthroat team to be in. I don't think many team bosses would blame Tsunoda for going, do you know what? I'm okay. I'm all right, actually, guys. I'll stay here.
Pass.
It's a pass for me, because quite frankly, I know Verstappen is doing good things in that car that isn't very good. If Minardi can actually remember how to do a strategy, I think they could be doing almost as well as Verstappen's doing in that Red Bull. So I don't think it's worth, points wise for this year, I don't think it's even worth doing. They have better results. Is
Tsunoda in a bit of a lose-lose situation though? He says no to the promotion, then surely they go, well, what's the point? What's the point even? I know we've kind of already asked, well, why is he there if they're not going to promote him, which they didn't when Lawson went up? But what is remotely the point if you're not going to be a backup option for us when we do go through a tough time? You know what? See you later. Someone like Colapinto, want the rest of the season, mate. But maybe we'll pay big money for him. Yeah. But if he says yes and he fails in that seat and he gets kicked out at the end of the season, he hasn't got an F1 drive either.
I don't even know what to make the Colapinto side of things. Like,
I'm actually just ignoring that because that's nonsense. It's just nonsense. Come on now.
But it would be very Alpine to get an offer of a lot of money and experience for their reserve driver and then go, nah, you're right.
They've got so many now. They need to shuffle them along. Come on. Out the door, please.
It's like a school bus turns up and they go, which one do you want? There's 30 of them get off and standing a line.
Do you think Flavio's like treating his reserve drivers like flipping properties? Like he'd do a property up and then flip it for a profit. He brings them into Alpine and then sells them for a profit. Ka-ching.
So the way Alpine can make money.
Hey, you got to make money where you can in this world. Fair play to you, Flavio. I was thinking about this the other day because they've got an F2 driver, Gabriele Mini, as part of their junior program, and I'm like, maybe there's a chance he could make it to F1, and then realise no, he's like 12th in line.
There's no chance.
Like a royal succession.
Yeah, it's like being
the other 11 reserve drivers so you can get promoted.
It's like being like, I don't know,
Princess Beatrix of Alpine.
Yeah. When you're born, you're like 6th, but by the time you're 30, you're like 30th down the line.
Zara Tyndall of Formula One.
The Mike Tyndall of F1.
Never going to make it. Should just sit on the sidelines and have a good time.
Have a great time.
Oh, well. I didn't see us making a comparison between Gabriele Mini to Princess Beatrice at the beginning of this episode, but here we are.